Hey guys, it's Erica Stone, and this video is sort of a look over my shoulder while I do Pinterest. And the reason I put this video together is that it's uh, difficult to convey some of the techniques I use to find people to follow and to build a quality Pinterest profile in writing. Because there's so many different things that I see when I'm in Pinterest, different situations I run into, and I know that you're running into those same things. So I wanted to show you live how I deal with those things and what to look for and sort of those nuances that go into creating the difference, I guess, between what my Pinterest experience might be and what someone else's is. So this is completely live. It's not rehearsed. I'm going to run into some weird things as I'm going through Pinterest right now, and you're going to get to see, well, like this, a screen pop up. And you're going to get to see how I deal with those things. And my goal is that you will learn some new techniques and better understand what you can do in Pinterest and how to maximize the traffic and the results that you're getting. So this profile here, 5 top list, is from a different strategy. It's a Pinterest profile I've had up for quite some time now. I don't work it actively, but you can see that I have 2,683 followers. I'm following 1,400 people. If you were to look at the pins that I've added, you could actually find out the last time I had been on Pinterest and what I was doing. So here's my last pin. You could open it in a new window, and you could scroll down below the pin and see that the last time I pinned was 2 weeks ago. If you went to the second pin or the third pin, maybe go down a couple pins, bring it up and scroll to just under, and you'd see that was 6 weeks ago. Simply knowing that you can find out when someone was last active on Pinterest is tip number 1. Your goal on Pinterest is, of course, to get followers and spread the word about your site and share pins and content and connect with people in a different way. And then use those connections and the material, the boards that you gather or create on Pinterest to get some other Pinterest members to take action and click over to your site. If you are using a strategy of following other people to get followers, and you are following people who haven't been on Pinterest for 6 weeks, you're going to have a lower response rate to people following you back than if you are following people who are currently active on Pinterest. I think that must make sense, right? If you follow someone who hasn't been on in months, they're not going to follow you back. If the way you're finding people to follow is filling the bucket, so to speak, with tons of people who haven't been on Pinterest in a while, your results are going to be worse than someone who's following people who are recently active. So how do you find those people who are recently active and follow them in order to get a better follow back rate? Well, one way is to look at some of the categories here. Let's look at do-it-yourself and crafts and look at what's being pinned most recently. Now, Pinterest made some changes, and so this look at the do-it-yourself and crafts board isn't really just things that have been pinned recently. You kind of have to open each one and take a peek, okay? So if I did that, here's the first pin I found. I scroll down. Look down here. This is how long ago this person was on and pinned this pin, 46 weeks ago. While it's the first pin sitting in the do-it-yourself section, it's not recent. So if you were to try to follow that person, you have no idea if they're even still logging into Pinterest at all and checking. You can go to the next pin. And again, scroll down and look at that. Judith Martinez was just now pinning this pin. Now I could bring up Judith's profile. I just right-clicked on her name and opened her in a new tab. Okay? She's following more people than are following her. That's a good sign. It means she probably follows back. She has, good profile. She has lots of boards. She looks like she's active. It looks like she might be interested in some of the things that I pin on my profile. I'm going to follow her. Okay, now the fact that she was recently on Pinterest, she still may not see notifications right away. She may not respond or do anything within a day, and she may never follow back. But simply by following someone who's currently active, I've already improved my chances of getting a follower. Now, we can just keep doing that, and I know that seems rather time-consuming, going pin by pin. But if you really want to boost your results, you won't just follow randomly and find all these 46 week ago people. All right. So again, if you're doing a strategy of growing your followers by following other people, focus on the people who are recently active. Here we have Jan Town. She was on 2 minutes ago. Right click, open her profile, take a look. Now here's the next piece I want to cover with you. Analyzing the people you're following. I could follow Jan and she might follow back, but look at her profile. She isn't really into growing her followers or having a bunch of followers. It's not her thing. She's only following 36 boards and she has 14 people following her. You want to follow people who actively repin, who don't have so many followers that they don't even care to follow back or look at what's happening. You need people who are going to share your content. I probably wouldn't follow Jan because it's just not going to get me very far. If my goal is to bring lots of exposure to my site, I want to get people to follow me who have some sway. They have several hundred followers. So if they repin something of mine, it's just not 36 people who might see it, but a couple of hundred people who might see it. There are several things that I look for when I'm deciding to follow someone or not. Some of it, of course, has to do with whether or not they're even interested in my niche. If they have nothing but sports pins and images and boards, and my stuff is all about cleaning the house or organizing or toys for kids, we probably don't have a lot in common. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me to follow. Okay, again, I'm just opening most recent pins, and I find Tara pinned this one 3 minutes ago. So I'm going to open her up and go through the analysis again. Okay, this one's a little better. Not a ton. She's following 95 people, so she's comfortable following more people than are following her. She's got, kids and toys and food and standard stuff. It's not a couple of hundred followers, which I like to kind of see as a minimum, but I would go ahead and follow in this case. So each day, Pinterest will allow you to follow up to 300 new people. This is just one way for you to find 300 of the best opportunities, the people you can follow that have the best possible potential back for you. They're active, they have a number of followers, they'll repin, and they're not in some other niche. Okay, so that's one way to find people to follow. Now, another is what I call following the followers. I already, in my case, have a number of followers and following. If I look at my followers, the most recent people who followed my profile are listed at the top. If I go through them, all right, we have Sylvia Cooley, who looks like she's pinning about fashion. I can tell because I see the last 4 pins here in her profile. Probably not a match for what I've got. Here's Jenna Lewis, who has never pinned anything. 0 pins, 943 followers. That profile makes no sense at all, and it's not someone that I want my profile associated with, right? She's not even pinning anything, and if your goal is to get people to pin your stuff and share it, she's obviously not going to do that for you. Alyssa Carroll, 551 pins. There's some interesting activity here where it looks like maybe she's repinning the same stuff over and over. Again, another person into fashion. Again, repinning the same things over here. She's a henna artist, so that kind of makes sense. Let's keep going. Okay, here's a good one. Chassie Wallace. She's an active pinner. She has 2,257 pins, 456 followers, and she's pinning about home and food. I like it. I could open her profile. Now, what's interesting is she has more followers than following. So she may not actively be following people back, but she did follow me. So I'll probably follow her. But the other thing is, I'm going to look at her followers. Okay, now she's just given me a new source of people to sort of analyze. She followed me, I found her profile, I took a look at it. She's got a number of followers. I'm going to see if I can pick from that. Now remember, the followers are listed by those that are the most recent. You don't want to go too far down anyone's profile list and start following, because you may find you're going to run into something that's months old down here. These people may not even be active anymore. Stick with the first couple of lines. Slim and fit lifestyle isn't really a match for the target audience of this profile I'm working on. Kayla might be. She's got a mix of home and activities here. I could follow her. Best cooking products. Looks like someone building up an affiliate site, but I might give it a follow. Shannon seems to be focusing on the same sort of things over and over. Probably not a fit. So look at what they're pinning. Look at how many pins they have. Look at how many followers they have before you decide to follow. Like Janana Bryant here with 1 pin and 6 followers. She's not going to help your situation. She's not going to be able to bring you additional exposure to what you pin into your site. Skip it. Spend your 300 per day wisely. It might take a little more time and a little more effort, but if you want to do it right and you want to boost the returns, then I think it's worth taking the time to do it more rationally, more logically, rather than speed. We're focusing on quality over speed. You're going to get better traffic. Now look at this. A message popped up. It could be anything. And it is people inviting me to boards, or did somebody follow me back? Somebody just repinned a pin. Okay, cool. I like that. All right. Next, I want to cover another method you can use for finding people to follow. But again, if you don't do it correctly, it could just end up being low returns. There's a site called pingroupie.com, and they scrape data from Pinterest regarding boards. So I can see on PinGroupie a list of all the boards, and I can do searches for specific kinds of boards by category and put them in certain orders. And boards are collaborative efforts on Pinterest. Group boards are collaborative efforts where multiple people are allowed to submit pins. But not all group boards are the same. Some group boards were created just to help somebody boost up their profile, and there's really no benefit, and the followers are fake, and there's odd stuff going on, and that's not going to help your case. So on PinGroupie, I'm going to take a look for stuff in the do-it-yourself craft category. I want to order it by number of followers. I want it in descending order, and I could, add a word here like maybe I only wanted to see crochet boards, but I'm not going to do that at this point. Now if I filter the list, it will show me group boards organized. So we have do-it-yourself gifts, crafts for kids, embroidery, let's look at do-it-yourself gifts. Has 632 pins, 14 collaborators, 505,000 followers for 632 pins. Okay, that's a sign. There's no way 505,000 people all decided that this board with just 632 pins was worth following. To me, that smells a little spammy, right? I mean, we've got accounts with 632 pins or more profiles, and you don't get that kind of followers that way. Something's going on there. But we can bring up the board and we can look at the followers and analyze, and maybe there will be some that are worth following. Again, most recent people who followed the board are going to show first. Those are the people who are still active or have been active in the most recent past. But look how many of these don't have any profile picture. And when you're looking at group board followers, you don't get the last 4 pins and all that detail you do if you're looking at the followers directly from someone's profile. But you can right click on each person and open it and take a look. All right, if you had gone through and simply clicked the follow button here as fast as you could to get 300 people followed for the day, you would have followed a bunch of junk. No one, this person has nothing but followers. Okay, Christine, I open her up. Nothing but followers. Look how much junk is following in these group boards. That's why you have to be that's why it pays to be a little bit analytical about whether or not you want to follow someone. Look for profiles that are real. Okay, you'll get better results, and that's really what you're after anyway. Again, this person had a profile picture, so they looked real, nothing but followers. This tells me this board is junk, but I kind of knew that based on the ratio here of followers to pins. It doesn't make sense. Go back to Pin Groupie and look for something that's more realistic. These all have 490,000 followers. That's just ridiculous. Look for something real. Look for recycled crafts. No, here we go. Maybe 297,000 pins in this column. 297,000 pins might earn a follower ratio like that. Let's look at Share Your Craft. Lots of followers. We're going to click on the followers to see what they look like. And again, it's a group board. Oh, but look how different these profiles are. They actually have pictures on them. That's, again, a better sign that these might be real accounts. But I'm still going to bring them up, okay? We have 339 pins. We're following more people than are following us. That's okay. That happens when you're trying to build your followers. This person is active. They don't have a lot of boards or a lot of pins, but it certainly looks a lot better than those other profiles. I would follow this person in hopes they'd follow me back. And then I would look at this following number and her followers, because this is the following the followers kind of thing. Once you find a profile you're looking at, check out their followers. Just look at who they're following, especially their followers, because you know that person at least followed Erica Gray back. She may follow me back. Okay, and then go through their profiles. 21 pins. This person doesn't do a lot on Pinterest. Not worth my time. Jill Robinson, 583 pins, 1,160 followers. This stuff looks like home craft kind of things. I'll follow her. This person, lots of pins and followers. Sometimes when the person has thousands and thousands of followers, you might wish that they'd follow you back, but they may be so active they don't. You could open their profile and check, and she's pinning about clothes, but she did follow this other person, so I'll follow her and see if she follows back. So again, scan through. I think I'm saying the word again too often. Okay, now my goal. I'm going to try not to do that. But look through their most recent pins. Look at how many things they've pinned. Look at the kinds of things they've pinned. Pebble Creek candles looks good. 11,000 pins, thousands of followers, but not so many that they might ignore you. Oh, but look, I've already followed them. It says my only option is to unfollow. That means I've already followed them. I'm going to leave that as is. Keep going through the first few rows looking for matches for your profiles. Look for good accounts that have activity. Look for people who are pinning. Follow them. And somebody else happened. Okay, somebody started following me. It wasn't somebody I followed, but hey, that's how that happens. All right, so this first section of material was about how you find people to follow, because following people is one of the fastest ways for you to gain followers. Some number of these people will follow you back. Some number will not. By focusing on people recently active, by making sure you check out their profiles, you're improving the chances of getting quality followers. In the book, I will show you how to clean up your profile so that you can, over time, develop one where you have, like this account, more followers than you have following, because I think that adds a degree of professionalism to the overall reputation of your profile here. Now, the next thing to cover is finding things to pin. People struggle with this, and you don't want to pin just your site. That's not what Pinterest is about. This isn't a place for you to only share your material. You could, but you'll do much better if you share all kinds of things. Understand that your customers aren't just interested in one thing on Pinterest. They're looking to find new projects, design their homes, come up with home decorating ideas. They're looking for special things to do for the holidays. All of that is folded in. Pinterest is it's like a scrapbook site where you get to keep all the fun things you find and organize them in a way so that as something comes up in your life, you have a resource that you can go to and find ideas you'd saved in the past, things that you'd like. You'll get better exposure to your site if you build boards for a variety of topics around a kind of central theme. In the case of this profile for 5 top list, you'll see I have decorating tips, stuff for the patio, kitchen, outdoor kitchen ideas. I have recipes. I have kids stuff. My site does target or promote Amazon products for many of these niches, but not all of them. I have a board for house cleaning tips, but I don't have any house cleaning articles on my site. I just know that the audience that I'm trying to target probably has an interest in tips on cleaning their home. I know I do. It makes it more exciting, more fun, and more personable to build boards that don't just talk about products, but talk about real life tips and solutions. And that's kind of the fun part of Pinterest, is coming up with things and going, oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I'd like that. And what a great idea. You be the person who finds those cool ideas across a theme. Gardening, home and children. These are fairly broad themes. You can take your profile more broad than you can your site and be just fine, because you're talking about people, real life situations. People have multiple interests. Connect with your audience. So this profile, we're going to look for some things to pin. I sometimes have to go through my boards again and see what it is I pin, what boards I have. Do I have to create new boards for things? Now, the first place to look for things to pin is right in Pinterest. Right here in these 3 lines, you can go look at what's popular. I could look at everything being pinned. I could look by category. I know I have some craft boards. I'll bring up the craft section. Careful not to pin too many things from one category at a time, though, or at least not 50 recipes on chicken all at once. Remember that your followers are going to get a feed of all this activity, and if they see you flooding something with 50 pins about chicken or 50 styles of placemats, they may unfollow you just because they don't like seeing all that stuff at once. It sort of gluts up the feed. So work through a couple of your boards at a time. Pin something that's craft related, pin something that's kitchen related, look for a new recipe. I will often bring up multiple categories like I did here. I have popular, I brought up the crafts. I could go back to the search and bring up, let's look for food and drink. And just look at what's being shared. Look for stuff that really does look interesting to you, because if it's interesting to you as a person, it will probably be interesting to other people. Like this cake pops. I have an 11-year-old son. Planning birthday parties is a pain. I'm always looking for ways to make them kind of fun and different. He would love this. Now, when I'm doing this, I want to make sure that the pin goes to a real place. So if I have any question about whether or not the pin is really going to offer value, I'll bring it up and go to the original site. I know you're saying, oh my gosh, this is so much work. But really, once you've done it, take a week and adjust, or 2 weeks. It really won't take as long as you think. This is a pretty picture on this page, but I'm getting a 400 bad request message. I don't see how to actually make the cake pops. That's useless to me. She has a link up here to see more party details. So I might try that. And that takes me again to a bunch of pictures, but this doesn't tell me how to make what she's got here. I don't like that. I don't like to share those kinds of pins that really don't give you, they look nice, but they don't really tell me how to make those. I don't like it. So I'd skip it. Let's see. So I'd look for something else that looks yummy. Ooh, that looks good. Vegetable rice pilaf. Always up for what looks like strawberry. Oh, it's peanut butter Nutella crepes with strawberries. Okay, so my sister's boyfriend is from France, and he took us for crepes. Nutella crepes. They were huge, he said. That was his favorite. I'd never even heard of. I actually wasn't sure I'd even had Nutella, but I hadn't had it in a crepe. It was delicious. So I'll bring up the pin, visit the original site, and waiting for it to open. And okay, I've got so many tabs open that could take forever. And look, it's real. There's real picture. There's real content. She's got pictures showing how. Even if she didn't write instructions for how, you could tell from the pictures. Okay, I like it. So I'll go back to Pinterest. I'm going to pin it by clicking the pin button. Then I got to scroll through my list of boards. Someplace I have recipes. This is the problem. You get so many boards sometimes that you got to... Recipes to try. Pin. Now, I noticed something else while I was looking at that pin. And that was that the person who shared it just did so 3 minutes ago. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open her profile. She's recently active on Pinterest. That means I might want to follow. Where'd she go? I opened the wrong thing. Methinks me must close some tabs or suffer. Let's try that again. I'm going to close these other categories. You get the idea. We're looking at pins, we're analyzing their quality, and then we're spotting some additional opportunities to follow people. She's following. She's active. She's got 15,000 pins. Maybe she'd share one of ours. Perfect. Love it. I'll follow her. And again, follow the followers. Look at who's recently followed her. And when my browser recovers, go through and analyze the first people in the first few rows. Okay, Marka for you has 600 pins, so she's active. She's got followers. She's doing style and fashion. May not be a total match for what I have, but it looks interesting. I'll follow her. This person, it already says I'm following her. Clean eating has not a lot of pins, but a ton of followers. That kind of, that's that ratio thing. When you see way more followers than there are pins, that's probably not the kind of action, not the kind of follower profile you're looking for. This person has lots of pins, good number of followers, pins that are in the home area, follow. Okay, again, Heather, 15,000 pins, several hundred followers, some home stuff. She shows kids in the picture, follow. Jennifer, home stuff, 184 followers, 2,000 pins, follow. Okay, I just went down a few rows here to those who are most active because I happened to come across Chandra's profile while pinning. Took advantage of that for a few minutes and then back to looking for items to pin. And another thing popped up. I'm just using that to kind of show you how things move along. Okay, 2 people started following me 5 minutes ago. Now, one last tip, and that is you don't want to just share stuff you find on Pinterest and kind of regurgitate what's already there and share stuff to your site. You can also become the source for new finds. You could take a little time, go to Google and do a search. You can even just do the word do it yourself, DIY. Go to the Images tab in Google search results. Click on Search Tools. When it comes up, you'll have an option here for time. Look only at the images in the past 24 hours that somehow relate to whatever search phrase you have up here, do it yourself. Okay? Some of these are going to be repins, some of them are going to be people reposting something. They're not all really going to be fresh posts, but this will be one way where you can find fresh material someone has just published in the past 24 hours that maybe hasn't fully, been discovered or repinned to death on Pinterest. Here's one that's if you hover over the image, you'll see the URL. In this one, it's Facebook. I don't like to pin from Facebook. This one shows it's already on Pinterest. Look for new cool images. Okay, Savor Queen has this image doing what looks like flowers on a lampshade. Right click on it, open the image, go to the original post. Crappy site. Sorry, but they didn't really put a lot of time in that. It looks like she's really borrowing that from somebody else and popping up her own ads. Skip it. Okay, here's Facebook. Keep going. We'll find something cool. Here's easy to make do-it-yourself cell phone cases, and it looks like it's actually on Mashable. Go to the original post. Okay, this is all, new stuff that's just been shared online in the past 24 hours. Go through, or there's some cool photos. Yeah, you bet. Some cool photos, some interesting ideas. How to use nail polish, how to use marker. My kids would love this stuff. Yoda cell phone case. I'd like that. Okay. And we saw that the date is recent, 9 hours ago. Okay. I will just click the little pin Pinterest bookmarklet I have up here in my browser, this red button. Click it. Images should pop up from the post. I can pick the one I like, and when it comes up, I'll pick one I like. She says over and over until it comes up. I like the Yoda one. Oh, couldn't find any pinnable things on this page. That doesn't make sense. Oh, maybe because there's some videos and stuff. But actually, I'm hovering over it. I should see pin things. Are not there. Forget that. If it had been one, I'd pin it. Keep going back through the results, looking for cool images, cool projects, things that you think your followers would love to see. Look for stuff that's real, quality posts, really tells them what they can do. Look at that. Oh, it's Facebook. Isn't that weird? I think I'm hungry. It kind of looks interesting. Okay. Looks too sugary, but, oh, here's a neat looking one. Google Plus. Keep going. Ooh, Pottery Barn, do-it-yourself hacks. It's on Pinterest. I told you, doing this live, I might run into interesting challenges. Sometimes you'll find a lot in here. Sometimes nothing that really appeals to me. However, change the word. I could do gardening. Oh, I could spell it right first. That would make it some difference. Well, okay. Gardening. Again, I'm looking at just stuff in the past 24 hours. Hover over it. Look for great pictures. Look for how-to stuff. Look for color, interest. Don't pin Dreamstime stock photos. Don't pin that stuff. Bring it up. Make sure it goes to an article, a how-to guide, a something that people will like. Look for an opportunity to pin that way. Okay, I think I've overloaded the video here. You get the idea. I've shown you how to analyze people's portfolios, how to find people who are most recently active, how to boost the returns you're going to get by spending that extra time on Pinterest looking for quality, how to find things to pin. I'm going to go through my checklist here. We talked about Pinterest profiles that are out of whack. They look funny. How to look at the last 4 pins to see if the person might be a match for what you're pinning. How to follow other people's followers. Always look for opportunities to pick from some, profile someone else has already built. Look at their most recent followers. People who are most recently active, follow them. While you can do 300 followers a day on Pinterest, I try to keep it around 250 in case people follow me back or follow me and I want to follow them back. I have some room to work with each day. How to tell good groups from bad. You saw that one profile was just filled with spam Pinterest members. Forget it. How to find things to pin with recent image searches in Google. How to check the quality. Repinning things you find on Pinterest by going through those feeds and looking at what's interesting. And if you don't already have the Pinterest bookmarklet in your browser, which is this little red button up here, just go type Pinterest bookmark tool in your browser and get it on there. You'll be able to pin from any page where you want. You still have to make sure that the person wants stuff to be pinned, but it also helps you pin from your own sites. I tend to use it more than anything else. All right, so look at this. I've got 20 things going on here. One person started following a bunch of my boards one at a time, so she showed up. And by the way, if you recognize this profile here, it's somebody we just followed. So hopefully you've learned a few things and you'll find this helps you see better results on Pinterest. Thank you for hanging in there. And as always, let me know if you have any questions or if I can be of any help. The information to contact me is in the book that came or that led you to this video. Have a great day.